Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to install BattlEye Extended Controls for automatic server restarts. This works for any Arma 2 or Arma 3 multiplayer server. I did notice the original place where you download these from is dead. This is where you get them from. So it hasn't been updated since like 2015. I'm guessing that the web hosting has died or ran out, So I've got the latest copy here, and I've pre-configured some files to make it easy to install and use. And I don't have any hard-coded instructions up. I'll get those later. But there'll be a link in the description for this. So you just download them here. You don't need instructions anyway. It's really easy to do now that they're pre-configured. So go to downloads and you want to extract this folder. And since Daisy Epoch 1062 has moved this folder to the C drive, I've just kind of made it this way so you could easily just drag and drop these files. So open up this server config folder. This is for doing an install with one server. I'll go over some stuff for multiple servers towards the end, but we're set it up for one server. So open up this. In BattlEye, there's a bands.txt. If you're using an Archon tool, like Infostars that I did before, there will probably already be a bands.txt, but just copy this in here. It's an empty file. It just says put bands here, right? You just get rid of this and start putting if you ban people through the Archon tool, then you put them in there. They'll go in there, okay. Okay, so you need these two batch files. This batch file right here was donated by Salival, the Epoch dev. Thanks for that. And it checks to see if your server's running. If it's not, it starts it. See, it calls for that file, which is right there. So just copy these two over into your config folder, right? You don't get rid of this one. I have it set up in here so that it calls that file. This batch file calls that batch file. So you don't have to get rid of that. And if you're doing a different map other than Shinaris, you just change that. Okay? So if this is, Taviana or a different map, you just change that. Otherwise, drag and drop. Okay, back up. This goes on the root of C just like this folder. This has your BEC stuff in it. So just drag this over and copy it. And so let's go over this host file. This is something you have to do since that website is no longer available and you can't, it doesn't check for new versions. You redirect to your own machine. So what you need to do is open up either Notepad++ or Notepad, this. Right click it and run as administrator. You have to run this as administrator to edit this file. So make sure you run it as administrator. Okay? If you're using a different version of Windows, and you can browse to it, I think it's under Windows Accessories. Okay, so go File, Open, and then navigate to this directory, right? So you got C, right, open C, go to Windows, System 32, drivers, where am I? Drivers, and Etsy. And you notice that there's nothing in here because those files don't have extensions. So go here and go All Files and edit this host file. So this is what it looks like, and you can see I've already done the edit here. These two lines right here go at the bottom just like this, and then save it, right? So it looks just like that. You have to do this, by the way. Okay. So that's all you need to do from the download itself. Go to this server tools folder, open up BEC folder, and go to config. And I've already pre-configured some scheduler.xmls here. So you need to decide you want 2-hour restarts, 3-hour restarts, or 4-hour restarts. The standard is 4-hour restarts, and the first restart is set for midnight, so we're 10 minutes away there. So open this up and copy this one, whatever one you want, 2, 3, 4 hour, doesn't matter, and copy it into this directory, or paste it, sorry. So pull it out of there, paste it here. Open this up and take a look. So you see the first restart is happening here at midnight, and it just shuts down your server. There is no restart on here. This is all pre-configured. At the bottom, you'll see this section that says BEC messages. These are looped messages, and if you look at these times, these first 2 zeros are seconds. The second 2 are, well, if I can get there, those are minutes, and these last 2 are hours. So after the server starts 5 minutes, it's going to run this message. And you can change this, of course, after, say, -1. You see this message will start at 5 minutes and run every 30 minutes. You can also change this to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you want. I just set it as a default to 30 minutes. You can see loop is set to -1, which means it's an infinite loop. It will keep running the message as long as your server's running. So every 30 minutes it will run that. Or if you change it to something else like 20, it will run it every 20 minutes. You can change this. Let's say you start your server and you want this message to run 3 times every server restart, and you want it to run every let's say 10 minutes. So change that to 10. So after 5 minutes it will run once, and then rerun at 10 minutes. Whoops. Excuse me, I need to drink a coffee. And you can loop it twice. So what this means is this message will run 3 times now. And common messages you'll see in here will be like your Discord information or your website information, server features, like if you have a custom menu, you'll put in here, like, press tab for custom menu, something. I put 4 of them in here by default, and they are a minute apart. So every minute one of these will run, and every 30 minutes it will run again. Okay, but this is how you change the loops. If you only want it to run 3 times, that would be 30 minutes total. And you can change any of this you want, really. I'm just going to leave it as the defaults. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't know how else to explain that. These, all of this is pre-configured. Don't touch any of this shit. You've got a 30-minute warning, a 15-minute warning, a 5-minute warning, and a 1-minute warning. And you can change it to a 2-minute warning if you want. I just did that because that's what I commonly see, but you could change this. This would be 11:58, and then change this to 2. Right? You could do it that way. Do it to each one of these, and you can see that this is a comment. This is a 4 a.m. restart. This is the every 4-hour restart. Whatever way you want to do it, I just pre-configured it to what I see on most servers. Okay, so if you're moving these files around, you have to pay particular attention to your paths. This is set up to run in this config folder as it is in the install that I did, and the common install. There's some stuff you can configure in here, of course. You can read through that. I just did the basics and set it up. It's restarts. lobby idling, you'll get kicked. You can add your name to your GUID and your name. Doesn't matter. You can name yourself anything, but that's what shows up as if you logged in or something. And I think you get special privileges on this. I didn't set any of that shit up. If you want to set that up, you're fine. Just go get your GUID, which after you log in, you'll see your GUID, and you can add it to that file. So that's all there is to installing this. That's it. So, one other thing I like to do, instead of starting if you watched my Epoch install video, you start your server with that, right? I had a shortcut over here. You no longer start your server with that. You start it with the server monitor. This detects if your server is running, and if it's not, it starts it. So I'm going to actually put a shortcut for that there. My client is already running. Let's start my server just by double tapping the server monitor. Right? Oh, you know, hold on. Let's turn this off. Turn off. A couple other things. Before you start this server, two things. Number one, in the server tools, you'll see this BEC here. Right click that, go to properties, and you see how it says unblock. You want to unblock that. Okay? Make sure you unblock that. I had already done it one time, but it didn't matter. The other thing that you will notice, sorry, I hit the mic. The other thing you might notice, your antivirus will actually flag this. So go into your antivirus. I'm just using AVG free. In fact, I moved this directory, so let me see. Go into exceptions, and you need to, this was the old path I was using. Delete that. So you need to put the path in here to this file. So right click it, go to properties, location, grab it, and put that in here. Hit OK. Well, that's just adding an exception for that directory so it doesn't flag that file as malicious. You should do that on your antivirus. If you don't, it will quarantine this file probably, and then you'll have to put it back. You might have to restart your computer to get access to this directory. Just do that preemptively so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so start server with the server monitor file. And you see what's happening here. It said server is not running. It's restarting. So it's actually starting the server. And here it is. There's BEC. It's waiting for this server to start up. Okay. So you can see this is your success message right here. Archon admin number 0 with this loopback IP in that port are logged in. That port will change. Obviously, it couldn't find a new version of BEC update because there is none. But don't worry about this. That's no big deal. This is BEC running. You can just leave that minimized down here. This is the server monitor. It's checking every 20 seconds to see if this is running. And you can see I've got a confirmation that the Archon is logged in, the BEC. So just let this loop run and log into your server, and I'm 2 minutes out, I think it said. So I don't know if I'm going to get the... I may not get the restart message. Probably not. Oop. Yeah, we're 1 minute out. We're going to get cut off here. Okay. Whoa, where am I? Oh shit, I'm going to die. Ooh, that was lucky. I logged off when I was inside that tank. That was lucky. We're going to get cut off here. As soon as this thing hits midnight, it's going to shut down this server. This will shut down, and then this server monitor is going to restart it for us. So let's just hang for a sec. There it goes. It's gone. In 13 seconds, this will restart the server. This is the best way to do it, by the way, because this, if your server crashes on you, this will notice and it will restart it for you. There you go. Restarting server. Okay, server is restarted. BEC has been restarted. It's logged in. Yep. Okay, so now if I go here, obviously I got cut off. Server is back up. I can join. First time login is always painful. Where are we at? Okay, so you see it will tell you who logs in, and then there's log files that will tell you. So after 5 minutes, we should see a message that pops up in the lower left. That's your looping messages. Okay, so these just run, and you just let these server monitor and BEC run down here. So let's go over it. Let's see. We got a few minutes till that first message shows up. What was I gonna say? Oh, log files. This has all the logs from mine, but I should probably delete them off of GitHub. You don't want to read my logs, do you? Probably not. Yeah, let's get rid of these. So you can see what it's doing. It's just saying Archon logged in, blah, blah, blah. You know, who logs in, who logs out. It's just log files. And these are the messages that go on every 5, you know. Okay. Just getting rid of these logs out of the GitHub repo. Because I forgot. It should create that, you know, it got rid of that logs folder because there wasn't one in there. Should recreate that. If not, just recreate it manually. GitHub doesn't like empty files, so it just deletes them. So where did it go? Log? Did it delete the log? Where did it go? Let me see. Config. So the log folder was missing with config. I might have to put that back in there with an empty file with just, you know, a bunch of gibberish in there, which is fine. I can do that. But anyways, this will have log files. I think, let me see what happens if I actually delete that. Will it recreate? Okay, so we're a minute out here from our first message. In the lower left, you should see a message pretty quick here. I know this is a pain in the ass to install. A lot of people have real problems with it, so they've requested it many times on my YouTube page and Knox's YouTube page, whoever. But this is about as painless as you can get. So let's just wait for this message. It should be coming up here shortly. There it is. So this message that you see down there in the lower left, it's the exact text I put in there. This message will start at 5 minutes and run every 30 minutes. So again, as I showed you, you can edit the times when they start. You can edit the times when they loop. You can edit how many times it loops. And you can edit how many you have. Just make sure in your scheduler, there's these job IDs, right? And they're sequential. So if you want to add another one of these, just grab this whole job, job tag to job tag, and paste it there, and then up this job ID 1, and then change your loop time. If you want it to run 3 times, then you change this to a 2. If you want it to run every 10 minutes, go like that. You can change the start time, 3 minutes, whatever you want. And then change your text to whatever message you want to show your players. That's what shows up in the lower left-hand side. Okay? Easy enough. If you're running multiple servers, this scheduler has a shutdown command, and it will shut down the stock name of this file. So if you have, where am I at? I want to go to this. This is what it's looking for. Arma2 OA server.exe, right? So if you're running multiple servers, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have a unique name. Obviously, for each of these servers, they have to have a separate config folder. In the server tools, you will have to have a separate copy of this BEC for each one. Like BEC and then BEC1 or BEC2. So you just right click, copy, and then paste, right? So copy, paste that, right? There's a BEC copy. You rename that to like BEC2 for server 2. And then you need to go into your config folder. Obviously this will have to be changed because your config folder will have a different name, and your port number will have to be different. And you have to have a unique name for your server. So you see here, it's looking for, well, this is the Arma 3. I don't know why they don't have the Arma 2 one in there, but it detects both Arma 3 server.exe or the Arma 2 server. But if you're having more than one server, then you have to have a unique server name. So instead of, where the hell is my file at that I had open? You'll have to rename this to something else. Arma 2 OA server 1 or 2.exe, and then put that in here for the other one. right? If you're running more than one server. What else? What else? What else? The paths in your for your batch files will also change. Right, default is this, but if you have a second server, this obviously will have a unique name. You'll have to rename that. And this will have to be renamed. It's looking for that, running in memory. If it doesn't find it, it restarts it. So you'll have to make sure to rename that if you're running multiple servers. And this path will be different, right? BEC2 or whatever you name it. And then this batch file will be unique as well. Not necessarily though. The batch file, if you download the server files, you notice there's, if you watch my video on how to install it, this batch file starts your server. And I left that as it was so you wouldn't have to, drag and drop, copy that shit over to a different batch file. But if you're using a different map or rename this somehow, you have to make sure that this name matches because it's calling that batch file to start your server. Not sure what else to say about this. It's pretty self-explanatory. The Archon console. See, it displayed all those messages. That's about it. If your server crashes, this server monitor will detect that. Because if that crashes, this will also turn off. BEC will detect that the server isn't running and shut itself off. This server monitor batch file will detect that it's crashed and fire it up. Don't worry about these. It's just checking to see if it's already running. So that's a really foolproof way to do this. The best way. It restarts your server if it notices it's not running. And I'm going to get killed again probably. That's it for this video. I don't know what else to tell you. That's about as easy as it can get to install this. So I shut all this off. And that's it for this video. I don't know what other kinds of questions you could have. Just make sure you transfer those files into the same directories as they are in the GitHub repo and use this batch file to start your server. Starts BEC and then monitors. Yeah, that's it. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video.